Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to remove and replace your control arm, and I'm also going to be showing you how to put in new ball joints on your 2001 Volkswagen Jetta. So I'm going to show you what tools you need. Alright, so you're going to need a screwdriver, an 18mm wrench, 13mm wrench. You're also going to need 18mm socket, and I think you might need a 13mm socket. You're also going to need a pair of these to hold the ball joint to loosen it. Alright, so we're going to start by jacking up the car at the jacking point. Okay, then we're going to put it onto a jack stand. You should always use jack stands when you can. Alright, so I'm going to show you why I'm replacing this. So this back bushing is bad, and as you can see, I can really easily move it with a screwdriver. I mean, it's all cracked, and I think my ball joint was going bad anyway, so that's why we're replacing it. Okay, so now we're going to take the wheel off. Okay, now that the wheel's off, we're gonna remove this tie rod end link. That's a 16mm. Now, as you can see, that sprung up quite a bit. So to get that back on, I'm gonna have to jack up the other side of the car as well, but I'll do that later. Okay, now we're gonna remove this one, which is an 18mm. Okay, then the next one we need to get is right here, right underneath. That's also an 18mm. Alright, I got a breaker bar on that, and we're just gonna break it loose. Alright, this one's being a little stubborn, so we're gonna spray it with some Cruel, your favorite libation. We'll see if that gets. Alright, so after almost busting out one of my freaking balls, I got it loose. It's finally loose. So now you're gonna take this out the rest of the way. Now, once it's loose, you're gonna have to hold, let's see if I can get it up in here, that nut on the top. That's hard to see right here, but it's right there. There's an 18mm nut. You're gonna have to hold it on the back side to get that bolt all the way out. Alright, so I'm gonna take it the rest of the way. Alright, so I got the nut off the top. I'm just going to pull this the rest of the way out and then move on to the next step. Alright, what you got to do is remove the ball joint. You are not going to remove these 3 bolts. Do not remove those. What you are going to remove is this cotter pin right here and the castle nut. So remove this pin with a pair of pliers or something, and then remove the castle nut. Just grab it on the end and wiggle it out of there. So like I said, just keep wiggling it out. As you can see, I almost got it all the way out there, so I'm just gonna keep tugging on it, wiggling it out. Okay, that's what it looks like when you get it out. Okay, now we're going to remove this nut right there. Alright, so now we are loosening the crown nut on the ball joint, and we're gonna see if we can loosen it without holding the bottom, but we'll get there. Okay, so I got it all the way loosened off. Now you're going to give the knuckle a couple of smacks. You're going to give this a couple of smacks, and then you're going to smack the control arm down, and it should just fall right out. So let's try that. Okay, so it dropped out. We're gonna get the nut out of there. the crown nut, and we're gonna smack the control arm down. Okay, now that's loose. Now we have all those loose. You might need to just wiggle this out a little bit, so put a screwdriver here and just pry it down like that. And it should come right out. Just wiggle it back and forth. And there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna compare this one to the new one. Okay, so here's the old one. As you can see, this is very loose. It shouldn't be loose. This should not be able to move like this. Same thing with this. I mean, look, that just just fell right out. What good that was doing, I don't fucking know. Now, if you look at the new one, yeah, I can't even move that. I can't believe I was driving this damn thing around. The front one wasn't too bad, but okay, so now this does not have a ball joint on it, and I'm not going to use this piece of shit, so I have a new ball joint. I'll show you how to put that on. Alright, so to put on the new ball joint, we're going to flip this over, take these out. Okay. Okay, now here's the new ball joint. You're going to want to make sure it's the same exact as the old one. Comes with new hardware. Alright, I'm going to put this together. Alright, so we're going to take this little protective cover off. That's just a protective cover. Okay, so that's what that looks like. You got the nut. This one is a different style. It does not have the cotter pin, so you won't need that. Now we're going to flip this control arm back over. And as you can see, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. It just slides right into place. Alright, now that the holes are lined up, we're going to put the new hardware through. Alright, so you're going to take the bolt, put one of these useless washers on each one, and then just bolt it down, and then you're good to go. Alright, so like as I was saying, this is the new ball joint. I can't even hardly move it. And then this is the old one. So this thing's gonna ride sweet when I'm done with this. Alright, so now it's the same exact opposite of the way you took it out. You're just gonna shoehorn it in there. Oh, make sure you take off the bolt first, Mike. Now, as I was saying, you're just gonna shoehorn it in there, wiggle it in, tap it in lightly with a hammer if you have to. Just get a little love tap all the way in there, and that's it. And then you gotta line up this guy with the steering knuckle. Alright, now that that's all lined up, I'm just gonna stick this bolt up through here so it'll hold it in place. Okay, now I got that slid in. I'm just gonna screw the nut on the top side. Now we're going to line up the front. And we're going to put the bolt in here. Then the last thing, line up your ball joint with the steering knuckle. Okay. Well, you're gonna sneak the nut in here. All right, get it started. And then tighten it all down. Don't forget to tighten that one and the one in the front. Throw the wheel back on, and then I think you're ready to go for a ride. I didn't record the last part of me tightening everything down and putting the wheel back on because that's pretty self-explanatory. But if anybody has any questions, leave a comment and I'll answer.